Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. Oh, that's right. I played Forza Horizon 5. Mr. Forza Hater got his hands on this one, and I'm ready to deliver my thoughts. I'm so excited about this one because I know I have a really weird reputation when it comes to Forza. Small backstory. When Forza Horizon 5 was showing off at E3, I groaned a little bit just because they were showing it off for over 10 minutes, I think it was. And I was like, hey, there could be some time for other games here. We know what Forza is. And a lot of people thought I was ignorant, being immature. And so now, since then, it's turned to a running joke. Your boy doesn't like Forza. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I've played over an hour of Forza Horizon 5 in a preview, and then there was time to dive back in, explore the world, see the biomes, see all the events. So I've played a decent amount of it, and I thought that my impressions may be appreciated because I am not intimate with mechanical objects of transportation. So I don't know what your engine does versus your tire tread. You are speaking another language. If you are trying to talk cars with me, it's just that simple. I grew up on Need for Speed, Burnout. Those are my games. So, as always, I tell people, please watch other reviews and previews. In this case, if you are looking for the car idiot's take, you're in the right spot. I can give you the dumb version of it all. But if you're looking for a more enthusiast take or someone who knows a lot about vehicles, you're going to have to look elsewhere. I'm sorry to break it to you. This is my blind spot. But I thought those who are looking to dive in, just like, hey, cool driving game, open world, yay, I'm your guy. So with that, let's start delivering the good word on Forza Horizon 5. First and foremost, this game is beautiful. The fact that it looked so good when it was a compressed video on YouTube or streamed on Twitch, with all of that in there, it still ended up looking excellent. Oh my God, when you put it on a 4K TV, this is joining the ranks of what I call the showcase game. What's a showcase game? It's a Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's now Forza Horizon 5. It was Forza Horizon 4. It's those games you keep installed on your Xbox if you got people coming through your house and you want to show them what consoles can do nowadays. Forza Horizon 5, without a shadow of a doubt, is one of the best looking games to date. It is incredible from its world detail to its car design and the frame rate. It's wow. It's incredible looking, and it continuously took my breath away. I would just coast around, look at all the sights, fly off some ramps. It was great. I really like how much time they put into making this game be a true looker. Why is that? I'm a Fable fan. That's why. And I'm feeling pretty confident about just how damn good Fable's gonna look. Throughout my preview, I experienced a plethora of modes like circuit racing, dirt racing, showcase events where a dude in a wingsuit was racing with me alongside a plane. It was really epic. There were photo events where I took this horrific photo of me in the middle of a dust storm with a tree on top of my car. Why not? We had speed traps, a huge stunt jump for a PR stunt. We had destroying XP boards. Some of this should sound familiar to you. The last Forza Horizon game I really sank time into was Horizon 3. I played a little bit of Horizon 4, and I was like, okay, this is cool, but it was so close to Horizon 5. I know myself well enough. I probably wouldn't have stuck around for 5, so I was like, let me save myself. So 3 was the last one I played. It seems like it's just kind of a continuous thing, like same events, new cars, and new locale. And that's kind of okay with me, because what's great about Forza Horizon that works for me and so many others is if you are like me and you don't know, for example, in Forza Motorsport, where it's a lot more of a mechanical racer, there's different things you got to do to make sure your car like stays on the road, turns properly. It's not like in this game where I held down the right trigger, I sped as fast as I could, and I would tap the brakes or the e-brake to rip around some corners. You'd have to read your environment a little bit, feel out the weight of your car. There was something there that's a little more intangible. But if you're like me and you don't really connect deeply or care that much about playing Forza like how it's typically played and you want to play it more arcadey, it still has enough weight to it where it feels more based in realism. You're not going to do boosts and suddenly fire's going to come out of the back of your car and you're going to speed past everyone. That's not going to happen here. But you can play it a little more casually than a typical Forza game. And I just want to make sure that's clear if you're like me and you never really played Forza Horizon. When I stepped into Forza Horizon 3 a couple of years ago, that was the moment I was like, you know what? This is really good. And again, it's more of that in 5. My personal favorite was the dirt racing. I just, once again, love the intangible factor of feeling out the terrain. There were little bumps in the road that you had to really control your speed going over, because if you were going too fast and you picked up too much air, you would start to veer off the road and lose some speed. So there was something there that is only found in the deeper intricacies of racing games. Again, I can't speak as authoritatively on why that's happening, but I could feel it occurring. And I thought that was probably the best part of the game, because what it did was shine the spotlight on how many different types of races you could have. Because I had typical circuit racing where you're just ripping around a road, and then the off-road stuff kind of added a variety there that I had forgotten about, right? This was something that's been in Forza Horizon, but I had completely spaced on, hey, this is how they create a different gameplay loop for a racer versus what I'm used to in my action games, my RPG games, where that loop is entirely different. They're constantly tracking your accolades in Forza Horizon. It's something I've always liked about this series is you'll just drive on a new road and they're counting even all the roads you've driven in specific regions, how many jumps you've flown off of, how many XP boards you've broken down. I mentioned how I was very tired of completionist checklist open worlds with my Far Cry review. And a lot of it's because of how the player engages with the world is very familiar, where with Forza Horizon, it's doing a thing that really only Forza Horizon's doing. So I love going into its open world and doing these little checklist objectives because it's very fresh and new to at least me as someone who doesn't play a lot of these types of games. So just know that, again, they're consistently tracking you with all of your accolades. There's also a skill point system. So what happens is that these skill points can be spent on any car. Some examples are 30% extra XP for the next 10 cross-country events, to car wreckages scores increasing by 20%. You could add 10 extra Forzathon points to your account. There are skill multipliers that build 1.5 times faster when a skill song is played, etc., etc. These are very Forza-specific skills. If you could not tell, it's not your RPG like plus 10 to strength. So again, I was looking at this like, I feel like I've missed out on a lot. Anyway, I thought it was cool because there is a bit of a meta progression within Forza that I don't remember a skill system being there. Granted, I did not dive deep into Forza Horizon 4, but I almost can swear I don't remember this being in 3. But regardless, I thought this was cool because it goes car by car. One thing I do love about Forza Horizon as well, as a casual, is the rewind system. Oh my gosh, is it a godsend. I had to use it twice in the couple hours I played, and just both times I pulled it, I was like, yes. Thank God this is a mechanic. Like, you don't use it as often as you think you would, but when you do use it because you really just ran it off the road or you blew it in the race, you're like, there's no way I come back. This is your moment for people like myself who aren't as good to say, okay, hit the rewind button. This has always been in the game. It's been in there for a couple of entries now. It's still there. It is a game changer. It will continue to be a game changer because you don't have to use it. You can ignore it. But for people like myself who aren't that great at these games, it's there to save your races. And it's so nice in the game. It's so nice. There is still a lotto system that is effectively a spin to win thing. I don't know how I feel about this. There's still character customization, so I made Tobey Maguire based off his hit scene. I don't know if anyone's heard of this scene. It's I thought of his famous ones. It's his "There are cars there, motherfucker" scene.
Get the fuck out of the way! I can't see! There are cars there, motherfucker! Get out of the way!
That is 100% my favorite rendition of Tobey Maguire. So as I was on the roads, I was thinking of him a little bit, and I was like, let me make this character. Let me make Tobey Maguire, bring him to life here in Forza Horizon 5. So that's exactly what I did, and if only they had an emote where you could say "There are cars there, motherfucker," that'd be fantastic. If you don't know what video I'm talking about, by the way, please look it up. Throughout my experience, there was a steady pace of car unlocks. I think this is important to note because I mentioned this kind of lotto system, very spin to win, very casino-esque. Never a fan of seeing that, even if it's just in-game currency or whatever. Never a fan of seeing it presented that way because it is very monetization friendly, if you will, and I just think it connects your brain to the wrong areas. So still, I was happy to see I was getting tons of cars for all different kinds of races. I was earning a lot of currency that could be spent on more cars if I would like to. Each of the cars felt very different. They had their own stats, as you would expect in a car game. Those were easy to read, by the way. It wasn't a bunch of, once again, like foreign objects being tuned and defined where I was like, what does that mean? It was very simple metrics to gauge how fast a car is, how its acceleration is, how its braking is, how much it weighs, that type of stuff that helped you really imagine a feel for the car. So that stuff was there, and again, for car idiots, was legible. The diverse biomes is something that I also want to shout out in this game, because one thing that they're really priding themselves on is this is the largest open world that Forza Horizon has seen yet, and it is gigantic, mind you, but it's also beautiful, because I was driving through the deserts, I was driving through towns, I was driving through like a jungle area. I love how far-reaching these worlds feel, even though you're flying through them at like breakneck speeds. I just love how when they change, it feels natural, like I have truly entered another region in the world. It's always tough to explain that, because it's just lying deep within the world design. But they've done a good job here, and again, I need to just emphasize, it's beautiful. It is truly beautiful, even when I played on performance mode, which is my preferred way to play, because if I'm playing on fidelity mode and the frame rate is dropping, in my case, just in general, I just feel the game ends up looking worse. But Forza Horizon 5 really, really looks good everywhere. Whether it's dark, raining, you're in a sandstorm, its use of color and the environment around it really mesh well together. Plus a banging soundtrack. That's, of course, always going to be in Forza, but we can't talk much about that. But just know, sounds very good. So, that is the car casual's thoughts on Forza Horizon 5. As you can tell, I do not have the ability to go super in-depth on everything, but I think there is value in that for people like myself who want to know, like, can I play a cool racing game in an open world and have fun? The answer seems to be yes. Yes, you can. So consider looking into Forza Horizon 5. It'll be day one on Game Pass. It'll be available November 9th. So consider checking it out then. If you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, no need to pay for it. It's right there and available. With that, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. This is going to be an interesting one. I don't know how this video is going to be received. I genuinely don't. I know a lot of people always appreciate my previews, but I think it's partially because of how in-depth I am. And in my eyes, I'm like, this kind of lacked depth, but I feel like that's almost the strength of it. We'll see, though. So be honest. Let me know your thoughts. I'm always willing to hear them and to improve. So fire away. And with that, I'll talk with all of you very soon. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support every ounce of the content we drop here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.